So here's a session for when you want to feel a bit more grounded. The props are optional, but I'm going to be using a ball and a rolled up towel. If you don't have a ball, but you've got a towel, then you can, when we come to use the ball, you can just fold the towel in half. If you don't have any of it, don't worry about it. You don't need it. If you've got the towel, we're going to start off sitting on it. It's going to be that way. I'm going to sit on it with the sits bones, the bony bits in the bum. And we're just going to do some pelvic tilts. Curling the tail under and reaching it forwards. So pelvis is tipping back and tipping forwards. I like to do this when I want to feel grounded, because when I come to remove the towel, somehow I just sit a bit more in the mat. But this little exercise at the start, again, if you've not got the towel, don't worry. You can either just pelvic tilt without it, or you can just join in when we're lying on the mat. 2 more. And then remove the towel and just sit for a moment and notice how you feel. So like I say, I feel a bit heavier in my seat. I can feel the mat underneath me. And then I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to lie down with my legs a ball width apart, because I'm going to put the ball between the inner thighs. I'm bringing my hands into a diamond shape and resting it on my pubic bone, and that's just to give me a sense of where my pelvis is today, how my lower back is feeling in relation to the mat. So I'm feeling quite neutral. If I were to have a little marble in the middle of that diamond, it would be in the centre of the marble. Sometimes when I lie down, my lower back feels like it's connected to the mat, like I'm in a little bit of a tuck. But today I've sort of landed in a neutral position, which is where we want to start. My hands I'm going to take onto my ribs. I'm going to make pincer hands, and I'm going to sort of cut my ribs with my thumb at the back and my fingers around the side. And I'm just going to start with 3 intentional breaths, breathing into the webbing of my hand and breathing into my back body to get this sense of a nice big 3-dimensional breath. So I'm going to inhale. And I'm going to exhale and just soften everything down. Inhaling. And exhaling. As I exhale, I'm going to gently squeeze the ball. Feeling and allowing my pelvic floor to lengthen as I inhale. And to kind of shorten or contract as I exhale. And then when I next exhale, I'm going to lift the head and shoulders up. And I'm going to reach my arms forwards, squeezing the ball. I'm going to start pumping my arms for the 100. Breathing in for 5. And exhaling for 5 pumps. Sending that breath to my back and my ribs. And exhaling, hugging into the ball. Keeping my feet planted and the back of my pelvis planted. Again, just to give me that real sense of being in the mat, of being grounded into the ground, into the earth beneath me. 2 more full breaths. In with the air. And softening out with the air. Last one. and lie down. Arms coming up above the armpits for ribcage arms. I'm going to send that breath still into the width, into that full ribcage expansion. Then as I exhale, I'm going to float the arms backwards. Inhale up. And exhale. So you'll notice that I'm not sending my arms all the way to the mat. And that's because I want to challenge my core, I want to challenge my rib stability. So I'm not letting the arms go all the way down and my back to kind of lift and my ribs to flare. Okay, I'm keeping everything quite anchored in. And that exhale helps to contain the ribs. And then I'm going to grab my ball. And I'm going to take it and place it with my right hand on the front of my left thigh. And I'm going to breathe in. And as I exhale, I'm going to lift my head and shoulders. I'm going to breathe in. And as I exhale, I'm going to lift my legs into tabletop. Now my focus is on this connection. My right arm into my left leg through the ball. My left arm is going to reach long. And as I next exhale, I'm going to straighten out my right leg. And then I'm going to inhale it back in. Two more. Last one. Now as you exhale, the arm's going to go backwards. But we're not going to lie down with that arm. We're going to stay curled up, focusing on the ball. 3 more. And 2. Last one. And lie down, rest. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, just starting off with the leg, and then after 5, we'll bring in the arm. Moving with that nice, full, intentional breath. Breathing in to prepare. Exhale, we lift the head and shoulders. We inhale. Exhale, lift legs up. And off we go. Left leg only. Inhale and exhale out the leg. So I'm using that exhale and the ball to engage my belly and to keep my ribs stable. Next exhale, add the arm. Arm back, leg out. My mat is really creaky. 2 more. Last one. And then rest down. So hopefully you felt something there going on in the belly. Now we're going to put the ball between the inner thighs and we're going to gently squeeze it. And as we exhale, again, we're going to lift the head and shoulders up. We're going to lift up the legs. And as we exhale, we're going to push both legs out long, hugging the ball with a bit of turnout, which basically means your feet are landing in a slight V shape, heels closer than toes. 3 more. And 2. Curling up deeply. Last one. And then lie down. Take the ball in the hands and hold it above the chest. And again, we're just softly hugging it. We're not trying to crush it. And we're going to bring the right leg into tabletop for knee folds. And then we're going to scoop in deeply with this feeling of pulling the ball in. And we're going to lift the left leg up. Right leg, keeping it bent, is going to lower towards the mat. We're not going to touch down. We're just going to keep those ribs anchoring. Exhale. And inhale up. Exhale the left leg. And up. So we're really grounding now through our rib cage and through the back of the pelvis. Big full breaths. Two more. Belly scooping into the back, into the mat. So if your belly feels like it's popping up, you've just gone a little bit too low with the leg. And we'll do this as the last set. So that was two more on each side. And last one. And then lower the legs down. Good. And from there, I'm going to bring the arms up into the air again. I'm going to slide my feet forward, so they're still going to be bent, just not fully bent. And I'm going to roll up. And as I roll up, nice big exhale. Sitting up tall. Lying down with control. And again, I'm going to lift the head. I'm going to exhale and roll up. Feeling the weight of my feet and my legs. I'm solid into the mat now because I've taken all that time to really ground. One more. And then I'm going to lie back down for bridging. And I'm going to keep the arms up. I'm just going to bring my feet back a little bit. I'm going to take that nice big deep inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to lift my hips. I'm going to inhale and come back down. So I like to exhale at the very end. I like to lift at the very end of my exhale because it helps me to keep weight in my ribs. Otherwise, I sometimes flare or lift from my back. So when I really exhale, I feel my whole torso pushing downwards. Then my bum comes up and then I really feel the backs of my legs working. Whereas sometimes if I lift on the inhale, which is another pattern, I might end up kind of thrusting my back up into the air, you know, kind of arching it, and I lose the length of my body. So we always say the breath is a tool, not a rule. And this is quite personal. This is just the way I like to do it. Two more. I'm really using all of my foot, the big toe, that little toe, and all of the heel pad. Last one. Pushing the legs down, pushing the thigh bones down, and rolling all the way. And then again, I'm going to slide those legs forwards. I'm going to have that feeling, you know, of oh, I've just done a bridge. I can feel the legs engaged, and I'm going to exhale and roll up. And I'm going to roll back down. Thigh bones pushing forwards. Have that feeling of a bridge as you lie down. I'm going to do two more. Exhale, curl up. And inhale. Lie back down. Last one. Exhale, curl up. And stay there. Now I'm going to roll over onto all fours. I'm going to put the ball between my inner thighs because again, this time it's going to help me stay centered, so grounded and centered. And I'm going to come into cat-cow. So with that nice intentional breath, I'm going to exhale and round my spine up to the ceiling. Now for me, it's quite easy for me to round up here, particularly since I hurt my back. So I have to really focus on trying to let this bit kind of go so that it could round, or I might curl my pelvis underneath me a little bit more. And then I'm going to inhale and try and isolate my pelvis first, and then I'm going to let the spine follow. Because I sometimes now, I kind of skip this bit and I move from here. And I want all of my spine to be involved. So even if it doesn't look like it, I've got that intention, okay? Pelvis curling first. Trying to get the lower back to curl next, and then the rest can follow. And then the pelvis first. And inhaling. But it's kind of finding that balance between not, you know, everyone or lots of people sometimes say, oh, Pilates, you've got to be perfect. And it's like, well, you still want your body to move. So I'm not going to be so fixated that I become rigid. You know, I'm still just moving with my breath. I'm letting that guide me, exhaling. And I'm inhaling. 2 more. And last time. And sit into rest position. Turning the palms up, bending the arms, and breathing into any areas that felt sticky. And exhaling, trying to just say, you are safe to release. One more breath. And then bringing yourself up onto all fours and coming to sit with your legs in a straddle, like this. Or if you're elevated or you find it uncomfortable to sit like that, you might sit in a chair with your feet on the floor, and then you've still got that feeling of grounding. The ball I'm just going to hold into my left hand, so my feet are off to the right. I'm going to put the ball in my left hand and I'm going to reach it up to the ceiling. My right hand is just on my shin. And I'm going to side bend, so this is seated mermaid. I'm going to inhale over to the right, and I'm going to fill my left ribs with my breath. If you like the feedback, you might put your hand there, and then I'm going to exhale back up to the top. Inhale. And exhale. One more. And exhale. And then I'm going to change sides. I'm just going to bring my legs around. Ball now in the right hand, feet off to the left. And I'm going to inhale. Again, you might put the hand on those ribs. And exhale up. And inhale. And up. Lifting up to lengthen over. And coming up. And then bring yourself to the front of the mat, or just turn to face the front. I'm going to put the ball back between my inner thighs, and this time my hands are going to go behind the thighs, and I'm going to balance on my seat, and I'm going to do 5 little rolls just to the tips of the shoulders, so the head's not touching, and back up, and I'm going to use my breath. So I'm going to breathe in and let that inhale, in essence, pull me back, and then I'm going to exhale to let that lift me back up to the top. So I don't need to look for the mat, I know it's there, I just use my breath. Two more. And last one. And put the feet down. Lovely. And that's you done. So hopefully you feel a bit more grounded, maybe feel a bit calmer and a bit more mobile.